Great. Okay, well, welcome. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our webinar today. My name is Jen Dobransky. I'm a business advisor with the Maine Small Business Development Center. Our webinar today is about SEO strategies, about boosting local visibility and attracting more customers. And it is a partnership between the Maine SBDC and WanderWeb, which I'll say a little bit more about shortly. I have a tiny bit of housekeeping for you. Again, thank you all for being here today. We really appreciate it. We are recording the session today, and we'll be sharing out the slide deck later on. So look for that in your inbox. We would love it if you kept yourself muted for the time being, but definitely encourage questions. So there will be some time at the end for you to ask some questions. Please do definitely encourage that. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the Maine Small Business Development Center, our mission is to help small businesses start, grow, and succeed. And we do that by offering webinars such as the one here today. We also offer free and confidential one-on-one business advising. So if that's something of interest to you, we have business advisors scattered across the state. So please reach out to me. My email is there on the screen, or you can go to our website and request advising from our website if you're interested in that. Today's session is part two of a three-part series on search engine optimization. And again, we're grateful that Corey Daigle, who's the owner-operator of WanderWeb, has agreed to facilitate this series. If you joined us last week, welcome back. And if this is your first session, again, we're glad that you're here. You can catch up on the last webinar on our YouTube channel. It is posted there already, so check that out if you want to catch up. It's not necessary for you to participate in all three, but it's available to you if you're interested. We will continue the series next Wednesday at 11, so we hope to see you there. And finally, I'm especially excited once again to introduce our facilitator today, Corey Daigle, again, owner-operator of WanderWeb. Corey works with businesses near and far to help them strengthen their online presence and marketing. She has a wealth of knowledge to share with us, and we're thrilled to have her leading today's session on boosting your local visibility with SEO. And with that, I will hand it over to Corey to get us started. Thanks, Corey.
Thanks. Thank you, Jen. Hi, everybody. My name is Corey. Like Jen said, I founded WanderWeb back in 2019. And what we do is specialize in websites and search engine optimization for small to mid-sized businesses that depend on local customers. So I love to give back. Part of our mission at WanderWeb is to help businesses grow. And so offering no-cost presentations like this is one of the ways we give back. And because I started my business with the Small Business Development Center support, they're very near and dear to me. I also served as a digital marketing advisor for the Small Business Center during a 2-year period during COVID, and was able to meet with around 200 SBDC clients during that time, and was just SBDC is very special to me. So today we're going to be talking about location search engine optimization. If you caught last week's presentation, I talked about website or on-page search engine optimization and all the things that you need to do to your website to make it easily findable by search engines and AI tools. A lot of the AI discussion really revolves around content, and that will be something we'll be talking about next week in the content writing for search engine optimization session. So of the three, that's the most advanced and, in my opinion, fun. Local and on-page search engine optimization are a little bit more checklist based. So what is SEO? search engine optimization, in simple terms, makes it easy for engines like Google to find the information you want to share with your customers. And there are two types of search engine optimization. One is organic, and there's multiple types of organic, like local, that we'll be talking about today, and paid, the other, and that would be ads or paid traffic. Today, we're going to talk about my absolute favorite type of search engine optimization, though. It's local search engine optimization. And I'll give you lots of reasons why throughout the presentation of why it's my favorite type. But honestly, it's my favorite because it's the most effective type of search engine optimization for businesses that want to drive foot traffic or be found in a region. So again, last week we reviewed the website or on-page search engine optimization. Next week we'll discuss content search engine optimization. And those three webinars in total give you really a great foundation for what you need to do for strategy around getting found online. So search engine optimization works like kind of like a librarian. So search engines use bots or they call themselves spiders to crawl all the pages on the World Wide Web, going from site to site and collecting information from every single page, putting them into a giant library. And when you type into a search engine, based upon the query or the believed query intent, results come up from the search engine. Local search is based on three main factors. Okay, so people finding you locally depends on three things. The first is relevance of the search. So, how closely your business matches what someone is searching for. So, the relevance is important. I'm going to give you instructions on how to meet all of these criteria, by the way. Distance is the second most important factor that's included in local search engine optimization. That's how close you are to the searcher's location. Okay. And the third is prominence, which is how well known and trusted your business appears online. And for example, you'll see things under prominence that like reviews, backlinks, and mentions from other pages on the internet. By the way, just like last week, this slide deck kind of functions as a checklist. And so at the end of the presentation, Jen will share the slide deck with you, and you can kind of go through the action items as a checklist. And what my goal today is to provide you with the strategy for each item of the checklist. So the most important thing, and this is the most common asset owners forget to take advantage of, in my opinion, is creating and claiming your business profile on Google. Your business profile helps businesses show up when customers search for your business or products on Google Search and Maps. All right. You may have heard it in the past called Google My Business. They rebranded and changed the name, as Google likes to do every couple years to confuse us in the industry. But it's called Google Business Profiles now. If you hear me referred as to Google My Business, please just disregard that and know that I mean um, Google Business Profiles, please. Old habits die hard. So why is this important? So search engine optimization, especially local, is crucial because the people that are searching for near me services, those are high intent searches, and those customers are ready to buy. So they're not in the information phase of looking for a business and gathering information. When they're searching for things near them, they're looking for a place to go, place to shop, a place to buy from. These are high intent searches. So for example, when someone searches coffee shop near me or plumber in Bath, Maine, which is where I live, they're not just browsing, they're looking for a solution in that moment. Okay, so local searches are uniquely special, and that's what part of the reason why I like them so much for search engine optimization. Most local searches lead to action, and they lead to quick action. And these high intent searches mean, if you're focusing on them, less marketing waste for your business. So you're meeting people at the bottom of the business funnel, not when they're looking for information, not when they're kind of trying to decide if they want the service. They're looking for the service, right? And you don't need to convince them they have a problem. They already know. They're just looking for the solution, and you want to be the solution that's found. So here's some data. I love this. 76 76% of people who search for something nearby visit a business within 24 hours. Okay. 30% of those searches result in a purchase. All right. So again, this is just proof that these are high intent searches that you want to capture for your location, physical location, or your location region. So remember, I mentioned a coffee shop, that would be a physical location. A plumber, I also mentioned, would be a region. They cover a region. So with 30% of these searches resulting in a purchase, it's because searchers already know what they want. They're now looking for where to go or who to hire. All right. The other thing is people are often searching on mobile, and those are even more high intent searches. People who search from their phone often when they're on the move, which means they're closer to making a decision, right? They might even be standing in front of your business and looking at your reviews to see if it's worth going in. So, local search engine optimization is important because local results get clicks first. And here's where I will introduce you to the Google Map Pack, which is the top 3 listings that get the majority of clicks. So showing up there gives you an edge. And this is an example, I will show it to you in a minute actually, of a Google Map Pack. I thought that this was the next slide, but I'll get to it in a second. So if you can only do one thing for your business today, is create or claim your local business profile. If you haven't already claimed it, it doesn't mean there's not a profile out there. Google crowd searches is crowdsourced, sorry. And so there may already be a profile created for your business. But until you've claimed it, you really can't modify it and customize it to reflect your business. It's Google's best guess. So this is a tool that can help you capture 1/3 of online local searches, and it is free. There's so few things that you get as a business owner that are free. I love to capture all the things that are. Your Google business profile is completely free. It's also the most effective tool on getting found on Google search maps. All right. Whether you're looking for in-person or online traffic, this is the way to get it. All right. Google business profiles make sure that your company shows up on Google search and Google Maps. So this is kind of what your Google business profile looks like. This is WanderWeb's. And if you haven't claimed the profile, if someone hasn't claimed it, it would say right here, claim your business. And you would just click on that and move forward. So by creating this and claiming your profile, you'll show up on local relevant searches, and potential customers can see all the things they need to know about your business in a glance. There is a verification process, which we'll talk about, but once verified, you're able to optimize your hours and get your profile updated within, it takes a couple hours, honestly. It's not a long time to do this. It doesn't take a long time to optimize your business profile. So let's talk about how we're going to make your profile. The most important information on the internet for your business when it comes to location search is your name, address, and phone number. You'll hear it referred to by marketers as the NAP. It's very important that this information matches across the internet. So make sure that the information that's on your website, in the footer of your website, in the header of your website where you put your phone number or whatever it is that you put, all of this information should match what's on your Google profile and other places across the internet. If it doesn't, please go in and make corrections. The second factor is choosing the right category for your business. So when you register your profile, you'll have an opportunity to select a Google business category. The categories on your Google business profile are the top factor for local search rankings. It's the most important thing. So what I would suggest is research your competitors and other businesses like yours. There's tools out there that can tell you what they're claiming as their primary profile. One that I really like is GMB Spy. It's a plugin that you can put on your laptop in Chrome, or Places Scout is something that you can search and look at your competitors. The primary business category that you select is the most important category and should best represent your main business activity. This is able to be changed out seasonally. So going back to that plumber, he may focus on HVAC stuff like heating in the winter and air conditioning systems in the summer, right? So, or a farm might change out their seasonality, their primary business profile. You can do that. You also have an opportunity to select up to 9 secondary business profiles, or business categories. So you can select up to 9 to highlight other products or services your business offers. Google changes these categories all the time. Um, and so it's worthwhile to go in periodically and look at the categories and make sure you're still showing up for the categories that are best representing your business, that are best for you from the categories Google has. And there's thousands of them. So it can be tricky to do. That's where GMB Spy or Places Scout come in handy. So an example for, say you're an event venue. So your primary category might be event venue. And then you could select secondary categories such as banquet hall, wedding venue, conference center, catering, and food supplier, things like that could be your secondary categories. As an aside, just to jump in, I do have a tendency to talk rather quickly. So if I am speaking too quickly, could you just let me know to slow down in the chat, or do a little slow down thing with your icons. And the other thing is, remember, if you have questions, you can drop them in the chat, or at the end, we'll have a period of Q&A where I can answer very specific questions about your business. The other thing that's important, remember we talked about your business category and how far you are from the person searching in local search. So selecting your service area tells Google the geographic region where you do your business. All right. So only include areas that you can realistically deliver services or have customers visit if you're a regional business. You don't have to list every city individually if you're a regional business. You can define a radius, or multiple towns. So a Maine landscaper, for example, might serve Bath, Brunswick, Topsom, and surrounding towns, right? This helps show your listing to people in the correct places. Be very strategic about this. Focus on areas with the most potential customers first. All right, put those at the top of the list. And then you can expand over time if your capacity grows, or if you have different locations that you're starting up. Also, I'd like you to upload some photos to your Google business profile. The visuals help customers see what to expect, and profiles with photos perform much higher. They receive 42% more requests for directions and 35% more clicks to their website. So this is very important to have your photos up on your Google business profile. Be very strategic about your photos. For example, if you're a med spa, you might post a short video of a procedure and how it works, and some before and after images, right? Um, Create a photo checklist so that you're actually posting things that your customers would want to see. The entry, what the waiting rooms look like, what your procedure rooms or products look like. You'll want to include those on your Google business profile. And then you have an opportunity to write a business description. So this is where you tell Google what's up, right? Write a compelling business description. Please use your keywords that we talked about last week, and we'll talk about again in depth next week. Include your hours, your website link, your booking links, and social profiles at minimum. All right. This is where it gets sticky, and it's probably where, as digital marketer specialists or SEO specialists at WanderWeb, we spend the most of our time on optimizing a profile is the verification process. I'm not going to lie to you. It can be lengthy, and it can be difficult. So it used to be that you always got a postcard in the mail in your physical location, that you would give them the code from the postcard that they sent you, and they would verify that you're physically in that location. But there's other methods of verification now that Google uses. So there's the postcard, but they can also verify by phone, email, or sometimes even an instant verification. Google decides how they're going to do the verification and the options you have of verification based upon your category, right? So you don't get to decide how you do the verification. They'll say, here's your option. You can do a video, or you can send us You can do a video call or send us a video. Like that might be their only options. They decide what your verification is, and it's different based upon business category. Lately, what I've noticed is Google has been requesting a lot of video for physical locations. They'll want to see the entrance, the local businesses, street signs, things like that. Only once that's verified will the Google business appear and allow you to customize it once you've verified. Once you have it verified, then you really have the option of going in and doing a lot of customization. But what I would suggest is we do some ongoing Google business optimizations, please, to your business. This isn't a one and done, okay? So we have, for our clients at WanderWeb, we do a monthly workflow where we make sure that we're reviewing the Google business profile to make sure the write-up is on point for the season, for the time of year, for what's going on in the business. We make sure the contact information is correct. We may have to update the hours. And then we also add other information, like we'll upload some new images and maybe link to some blogs or things like that, post some stories. So this is something that is not a one and done. You need to continuously look at your Google business profile. I would suggest monthly, but at minimum, at least once a quarter, and go in and tweak it a little bit. So once you've had verification, you're able to add pricing, your pricing for your products and or services. You can post weekly updates or events that are upcoming. There is a frequently asked questions section on Google Profile, which I really recommend you use, and you can add images. The other thing that we really stress at WanderWeb for our clients is reviews, getting Google reviews. So Google Business Profile reviews are used in ranking. It's probably what I think the thing that you can impact over time the most effectively. So reviews will build trust and they'll also help you rank higher in local search. And it makes it easier when customers see a lot of reviews for them to choose you. Here's some data, love data. 88% of customers trust online reviews as much as personal recommendations. So the key is to collect and respond to reviews consistently. I would suggest you ask every happy customer for a review, and you have to reply to all of them, please, even the negative ones. At WanderWeb, we have some blog posts that really go into the review management process, who you should be asking for reviews, how to strategically ask for reviews so they have keywords embedded in them from the customers or answer the problems that you solve for customers, and how to respond to negative reviews effectively are just three of the many, many blogs that we have on how to handle reviews. This is also something that we give our clients a really big helping hand with and help them handle reviews and how to navigate them. Reviews are becoming even more important in the AI era. And when we think about ChatGPT and other learned language model search engines, they're using reviews heavily to understand businesses and make recommendations. So reviews are more important than ever. And having an in-depth review management strategy is vital if you're future-proofing your business. Because learned language models, these AI tools, are gathering information from reviews. And we're seeing tools like Reddit pop up so much more, this crowdsourced information as a search engine tool for helping get businesses found. So your reviews are really, really important, and they're a way to take the temperature on your business in real time as well. So let's talk about a few other ways to get found locally. Okay. Okay, so I'm never going to do a presentation without at least one 80s rap reference. So if you're in my generation, bask in it, enjoy it. Backlinks are links from other websites that point to your site. So getting some backlinks encourage Google to recognize you as a trusted authority in local business. So places you can get backlinks include like community sites, local partners, or the news. Improve your visibility in nearby searches because they make you more trustworthy to Google and higher value. So some examples of places you can get backlinks are registering with your local chamber of commerce, local sponsorships or guest posts on local blog posts, or mentions of your business in news stories. The more quality local links you have, the higher your business will rank in map and local search. Social media profiles and social media content that links back to your profiles can also drive traffic and indirectly build backlinks. So my recommendation for this is to list your business on key directories at minimum. Make sure you're listed on Yelp, Bing, Apple Maps, Angie's List, and your local chamber. Remember, we talked about NAP or name, address, phone number. You want to make sure that information is consistent across all listings. And if you're a niche business, don't be afraid to find niche registries and directories and get listed there. Okay. So wedding vendors and health directories are examples of that. For example, we have a counselor we work with that gets a lot of our business from Psychology Today, their site, right? Even though people are searching online, that comes up really high on the search engines. So this will provide visibility where audiences hang out and improve your local search engine authority through consistent signals. Okay. So I think you've heard me talk about Google a lot, but search engines aren't just Google. And search engine optimization is this big ball of mystery that is changing so rapidly, right? It's overwhelming. And what I say is, and I've said this a lot, and this is just an aside, is really understand your customer. I will go back to this every single time when I talk about search engine optimization. And maybe call it search everywhere optimization or just search optimization. Because wherever your customers are looking, that is a search engine. So if they're looking on Instagram, they're using to find you or find something like you using hashtags, that is a search engine. If they're using AI to make a recommendation, that becomes a search engine. They're using it to search for a solution. So be thinking about where your customers are and put your time there. I also recommend that you link back from all your social profiles. Now, we are a search engine optimization agency. I believe that there are many great ways to build your business. It's the rare, not the rare exception, but it is the exception where people build their business exclusively on social profiles. However, I do recommend that you're found everywhere on social media profiles. It doesn't mean that you need to go ongoing manage and make those social media profiles robust. Our recommendation is 1 to 2 profiles that you know your customers are in and leverage those profiles. However, you can create some pillar posts like what you do, who you do it for, and the results you get. Those could be 3 different posts. And I want you to go and post them on every channel, right? And then just give information on those channels saying where you want them to go. So if you're using your website as your main source of directing people to your website, that's great. Maybe you use LinkedIn, right? So you could go on to Facebook, post those 3 pillar posts, and say, for more information, you'll find me on LinkedIn, right? Wherever it is that you're doing business, send them to that place from those 3 pillar posts. So they get there, they realize you're an authority, they know that you exist. You've got a nice solid backlink that search engines can read and recommend you because you're found with the same name, address, and phone number and information all across the internet, and then just give them directions on where you want them to go. So also, if you have a content strategy, you can repurpose your blog posts for social posts to drive traffic to the blogs as well. And that's a strategy we use and recommend for our SEO clients at WanderWeb, which we'll talk about more in next week's content SEO course. How are we doing? Any questions? We're going deep into local search. So remember that these slides are to be used like a checklist. Pick away, do 1 hour a week whatever works for you to get this done. If you're doing an hour a week in 2 months, you'll have everything done. Okay, so these are some advanced backlinks, but they can be very, very valuable. Press releases from milestones or events. So local news agencies love to cover new business and new business developments in their regions. All right. You can contribute expert quotes to local news. Um, my favorite is sponsoring, or sponsoring is an option, but speaking at local events. I really like to do that to get recognized. Guesting on a podcast is a wonderful way to get a backlink to your website. I do recommend it unless you're really interested in spending a lot of time with podcasts, not to start your own, but to leverage other podcasts that have lots of people in your audience that you could also work with. So finding those people in your industry that align with you but don't compete with you. So for me, for example, um, I love to work with brand photographers and PR agents. Those people work with the same customers I work with, but they're not competing for my business. I'm not competing for their business. And the other thing you can do is get listed in community calendars, so hosting local events. So let's put this all together. To optimize your local presence and get found in those near me searches or location-based searches like plumber in Bath, coffee shop in Brunswick, right? Claim and optimize your Google business profile. It's the most important thing you can do. Once you've done that, start to gather and respond to reviews. Um, Put a QR code out in your business for people to respond to reviews. Send them a text after their purchase. Get listed in local registries and directories like Yelp. As an aside, Yelp will then call you and try to sell you ads. Do not do it. Um, Unless it's a very specific situation, your business is not going to grow by paying for Yelp ads. There's much more effective ways to grow your business, but they will call. You have to tell them my recommendation is no. Build your backlinks and your social media presence. And if you are really looking to get into it, use public relations to really amplify your visibility. So here's some resources for you to help with local search. The first is this link to, this is how you would set up your Google business profile, or you can also go there and ask for support. There's so many reasons you may need to ask for support. Mostly it will have to do with your validation process and if an inaccurate review gets posted on your site. And so, or your competitor sites. So if you find your competitors are making spammy comments, getting spammy reviews to bulk up their reviews and they're falsifying reviews, you can report that here. The other thing you can do though is if you get a review that's not specific to your business, you can challenge it here. And an example is say a pizza parlor that a customer complained about the delivery service that was a third-party delivery service, right? So the pizza parlor wasn't actually delivering the pizza. It was a driver that was independently funded to deliver the service, but they're complaining about wait time for getting their pizza. Well, that's sort of out of the hands of the pizzeria, right? So that could be something that you would challenge. But don't hesitate to. You can't challenge a poor review unless it's misspoken or inaccurate. If you have a poor review, my recommendation is have a really good response strategy. And we have a blog about that, how to handle those on WanderWeb's website. You can always contact me if you've got questions or you need support. Here's wanderweb.com is our website, my personal email, and here is our Instagram where we post a tip a week. And we also weekly have a weekly tip that goes out by email. That is one tip that you can do to optimize your business that week in 10 minutes or less. It's completely free. It's just something we do to help out the community. Feel free to scan and subscribe. You'll get a Monday morning business tip at 6:30 in the morning each Monday that is a very, very simple thing. If you do this one thing, do this week. Um, we'll have an opportunity to take questions. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
So
You can,
Corey, you had said about getting like a QR code to give to your clients so that they can then put a review on your website. How easy or difficult is that to do? What does it cost? I mean,
So there's lots of free QR codes out there. If you haven't used a tool as an entrepreneur called Canva, it's canva.com. It's a free tool that you can create a QR code with. I call Canva graphic design for dummies. And, we're not graphic designers at WanderWeb, but we don't really use Adobe Suite, but we use Canva heavily. And there's very few things I haven't been able to do or achieve using Canva. So I love that tool for that. You can also type in just into the search engine free QR code and something will come up. But I do recommend Canva because then you can customize your colors and you have some options there. So what you would do is go to canva.com, type in QR code for what you're looking to do, and you just put in the URL that you're looking to create a QR code for, and then you can download it.
great. Thank you.
Of course. I love to use those QR codes. For our businesses, we recommend they post them at the register. There's also tools that you can buy that from online that they can just tap their phone, and there's an NFC card in the device that leads to right to the review link on their website, on their Google business profile. And I do recommend you use Google to get your reviews. There are other places that are great for reviews, but most people are using Google Maps. If you have a lot of customers that use Apple Maps, if you know that everyone that you work with uses Apple Maps, then Yelp reviews are the ones that flow to Apple Maps in the United States. Every country, Apple Maps uses a different software, but in the United States, they interface with Yelp reviews. But most people don't find the Apple Map software as user-friendly as Google Maps. So I recommend getting your reviews mostly there. You'll also see review options on Facebook and any site like Angie's List, but focusing on your Google Business Suite will provide you with the most return on investment of your time. So posting those QR codes at your checkout, but also if you've got like a digital like follow-up that you have for customers, you could send them a review or a SMS, text, or email after they leave, requesting a review. Um, and then you can also use those reviews. We have this whole review management process that we recommend. Those are, you can take those reviews, you can put them on your website, you can put them in your email signature, um, you can put them as posts on your social media channels and onto your Google business profile as a post, right? So using that content a lot is very, very valuable. You can use them in your case studies and testimonials. There's so many ways to use them. Love review management. It's a great search engine optimization tool that I could talk about. Every slide on here, I say this every time I present, I could talk about for hours and hours. Um, but reviews is something that I think that a lot of businesses overlook and they're so impactful. What other questions can I answer? Hi, Carrie.
Hey, Corey, thank you so much. I run a career coaching business, so I don't have a physical product or service. So I'm sort of absorbing all of this through that lens, and maybe there's a little bit of nuance. So I guess one, I'd love just any other tips or advice you have for that use case. But
Mhm.
my specific question is around protecting my confidentiality with like address and phone number. Is there a way that I can get around actually putting like my home address and home phone number, given that I don't have any other address?
Right. Okay, so I have a couple thoughts, but yes, when you are listing your Google business profile, if you're a regional business, that's where your locations would come in very important. So for you, you might coach across the United States and Canada. So those would be your regions, right? Very hard to rank for those. But so it wouldn't be your location search that would be the most important for you. However, I would recommend that if you have products or packages that you do put them on there under your products or services, right? So there are ways that you can do that. And getting reviews are important. In your specific situation, you'll want to leverage those reviews in your assets that you're more likely to be found on. Even though you can capture them through Google, you can leverage them a lot more in your email, website, and social media channels.
Okay.
Yeah. Does that answer your question? Oh, yes, about the location. So you
Yeah.
can indicate that you don't want your location shown, and so that your personal address isn't shown. So, for example, post-COVID, we gave up our studio for WanderWeb in COVID, and so I'm at home right now, right? It doesn't make sense for me to get another studio. So you'll see my business found regionally, but my location, my physical location of my business isn't listed on my Google business profile. You have the option to say yes or no to that.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Thanks for keeping me on task. I will go shiny button very quickly.
No, all good.
What other questions can I answer? I'd love to answer some specific ones, and while you have me, this would be a great time. If you have some specific questions, and you can always email me if you prefer not to put that out there. And don't forget to use your business advisor through SBDC. If you don't have one, I highly recommend it. A lot of the questions that I could answer, they too can answer. They're experts in pretty much everything, and can really support you and give you a lot of guidance. So don't hesitate to reach out to them as well.
It's like Linda Marie. Is that Linda Marie has a question? Her hand raised. Oh, two. Okay.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you, Corey. The last question, I kind of like tying in onto that one too. Here at Wise Earth Spirit, David is the artist, and I'm the backup. I do all the grant writing and stuff for the artist, and what he does is a lot of assembly. He does a lot of the wood work and things like that. So would right now we don't have a gallery right here where we live,
Mhm.
but by appointment we went to our town and they said that we're not in the good zoning for opening like a gallery to have hours, but we
Okay.
can do by appointment. So my question would be, with that profile, with the address, and also how does he really get recognized starting in Maine? We just bought our home last June
Mhm.
in the art community. Do we link with other folks like the Maine Arts Commission? We've been really talking with Indigo Alliance as well because David's Native American, so he truly wants to come and get connected further. I don't know where to start to help him, to help himself to get going.
Yeah, those are really good questions. Thank you for asking them. We have worked with assemblage artists in the past, and it's tough to move the needle there. Um, what I would recommend for you is to specifically, you'll want your Google business profile. You may or may not want to list your your location, but you can list your regions, and you can also put in a link to schedule an appointment with you, right? The places that you're more likely to be found as an artist are on the registries. And so researching the main registries for art would be high value for you. It's more likely that you would be found there and found there. The other thing is, your registries are going to get you listed, and you've already worked with your town a little bit. Um, some press I would suggest you maybe pursue some press, and with your Native American roots, that might be something that would be welcome, very easily. It's very newsworthy, right? So those would be where I'd start. I usually start with like the low-hanging fruit and then go through the checklist of all the things that you could do, but those would be things that I would suggest in your specific situation.
That's very helpful. I appreciate it a lot, Corey, because I feel lost right now, and I notice in the grants writing, and I spoke with one of the artists
Mhm.
that's helping us, is that social recognition, online recognition, for him to do any kind of further, what's the word they call, artist in residency,
Mhm.
and he
Yep.
really would like to do that because he does have a lot of stories, not myths, but actual stories to share of his tribe and things like that in general. So I could see that for him. He's a definitely retired veteran, so he's just trying to make that mark in his later life. So
Right, good for him.
thank
It's that getting found as an artist can be a real challenge. We have worked with artists, and I actually have in Bath, there's quite a few artists around us that, they come for advice, and it's always tricky. But the other thing is you could pursue like a social media channel. It's a lot of work, and assemblage usually doesn't come across very well into images. It's more something you need to see
Yeah.
in person. But if you wanted to schedule some time with me, I'd be happy to give you a free consultation.
Thank you very much, Corey. Thank you.
Anyone else have any questions? Okay. Great. Well, I wanted to thank you, Corey, for such an informative session. Great presentation, great questions too. So thank you all for joining us today. And we are hopeful that you're learning with some new strategies, that you learned some new strategies today. Another reminder that this is part 2 of our 3-part series. So we will be back next Wednesday at 11 a.m. and we hope to see you there, and we'll continue building on what we've already learned. Thank you for spending this hour with us, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks, everyone.
Placing the link for next week into the chat if you haven't registered already. You can do that. Thanks so much.